Breaking news right now, an update from the state capitol. The message from the governor: the state is ready and he wants you to be ready too. Director Stallings with GMA at the mic now, talking about weather preps, including bringing and suspending construction. Let's listen in to the update.
Frostbite is going to possibly happen. Some of the warning signs are white or grayish yellowing of the skin, numbness of the skin that feels unusually firm or waxy. If this happens, frostbite areas are typically numb. Do not put them near a heat source to try to warm them. You will not feel the damage you're doing to the body because it's warm. So if you do experience some numbness, wrap yourself in some type of blanket, try to sip on something warm and start warming the core temperatures. And finally, hypothermia. It will happen if the body drops below 95 degrees, and in these temps, if you're out for long periods of time, it can happen. Make sure you use those same precautions when you come in. Warm, non-alcoholic beverages are the best option. So make sure you're keeping wise. And finally, my final point that I want to make clear is if your power is out, most likely your neighbors are too. And in this type of event, it's important that we know we have one another's back. Check on your neighbors, check on your family, and we'll get through all this together. Commissioner McMurray?
Thank you, Director Stallings. First, I want to just tell everybody again, we are preparing for this extreme cold weather event. As the governor mentioned, there will be precipitation Thursday evening into early Friday morning. And as the National Weather Service has predicted, there is a potential for flash freezing for the moisture that remains on any of the roadways and bridges across Georgia. Therefore, out of the abundance of caution, the Department of Transportation is moving forward today with pre-treating roads and bridges on state routes and interstates, such to try to get an onset to keep that precipitation from freezing as this Arctic blast moves through. The Department of Transportation will treat basically from a line north of Columbus to Augusta and everything north of there, as well as I-75 from Macon to the Tennessee border and everything in between. That is some 21,000 miles of roadways that will need to be treated. This afternoon, we will start treating the roads, not the interstates, but the roads in northwest Georgia and northeast Georgia, as well as this evening, the roads in the South Metro area. That would be the state routes, but not the interstates. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., we will begin to treat the interstates from that boundary of Columbus all the way over to Augusta and Macon north. This will be working for 12-hour shifts until we have everything treated, and trying to have everything treated before the onset of the freezing temperatures in the wee hours of Friday morning. And we are confident that we can have that first application of brine across all the state routes and interstates. And so that's what we'll be doing starting this afternoon and this evening, and then the interstates tomorrow. I would like to highlight that tomorrow we ask for your patience while you're out and about. In fact, if you don't have to travel tomorrow, we suggest you stay home, because we will have to brine these roadways during the day. With over 21,000 miles of road, it just takes that long to brine that much area. So we're asking for your cooperation. If you don't have to be out tomorrow, stay home and stay warm. And certainly on Friday morning, we ask that you not get out. If you see a roadway that looks wet on Friday morning or Friday, assume that it is frozen. We will continue to spot treat any areas that have ice on them or they're black ice Friday into Saturday until we get the all clear. Now, this is an all hands effort with this big geographic area that we're dealing with, and we'll continue to work so that the roads are passable and acceptable. I remind you all too that your local roads, and especially subdivision or neighborhood streets, are likely not to be treated. So again, as we enter the holiday weekend, please just stay home if you can, and let's see how this really cold Arctic snap may have an effect on the roadways of Georgia. And Governor, I'll turn it back to you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Commissioner and Director, for those comments. We'll open it up for any questions you
Governor,
got.
when does the state of emergency actually begin?
Well, we're working on getting it drafted right now, so it'll be here pretty shortly, and it'll go through midnight on Monday. I think that's our thinking, probably go ahead and start it today.
And governors, it's statewide?
Yeah, statewide.
Just to be clear, all state routes north of the fall line and all interstates north of the fall line are gonna be treated?
That's correct. We will be treating basically the fall line north of state routes and interstates. And one other thing I might add is the express lanes on I-75 and 85 will be closed Thursday around midnight. And so we'll wait and assess those conditions into the weekend so we can safely open those back up at a later point.
Governor, can you talk about, talking with Georgia Power, the EMCs, how prepared they are? Are they bringing in crews from out of state?
Well, yeah, I'll let Director Stallings speak to that. You know, my biggest concern, just a couple of things besides what the team's been dealing with. We've been talking to the propane folks out there. So, you know, a lot of the chicken houses across state are warmed by propane. Obviously, a lot of residential homes are. So they just want to make sure that they can serve our people and our industry that's out there and our farmers and business folks. And so that's one of the main reasons for the state of emergency, but also we just want to be prepared. We want people to think about if they're leaving town this afternoon and it's still above freezing, to remind them that it's going to be very cold. So, you know, the things that Director Stallings was saying, opening cabinet doors, prepare for your travel if you were to get stranded, you know, in an out-of-way place in 10-degree weather, to have supplies to get you through those kind of things, to, you know, not completely cut your heat off when you leave to prevent frozen pipes, and just be aware of the potential for the forecast and heavy winds and extremely cold temperatures. It may be very hard to get the crews to fix a down power outage until it's safe to do so. So we just want people to be thinking about that and be prepared, because we know, obviously, with Christmas right around the corner and the rest of the holidays that are going on, weather is not of the forefront of people's minds. Even though I think when the winds pick up like they did this morning, the temperatures drop, it will be so very quickly. So that's the biggest things for me, and also just what Commissioner McMurray said, just for people to be patient. So our drivers, brine trucks, and other public safety vehicles we got on the roads helping with this, just give them plenty of space, be courteous, let them do their work, and just let's not have any accidents or loss of life because people get impatient on our roadways. But Chris, do you want to speak to the utility partners?
So we have definitely been in contact with our utility partners. Some of the concerns of, like you mentioned, everybody's dealing with this cold snap, so we can't bring in a lot of folks from outside, so it's kind of an all-hands approach. Everybody's available. Our main concerns as far as utilities go, we want to make sure our nursing homes, our senior living, assisted living places, hospitals, that they are certainly available. But we will mention that not only with the winds, but these temperatures, I don't know if you've ever had to work hydraulic equipment. It doesn't like cold temps. And so it slows down response with these hydraulic lifts and things of that nature, whether it's just cold weather or not. I mean, wind or not, the cold weather itself will slow that down. And to the governor's point, if you are going to travel, make sure someone can get into your home in the event of an emergency for you. Trust a neighbor with a key or an access code to a garage, because if a water main breaks and you're a couple hours away visiting family, someone needs to be able to get to that water meter or that water main inside your house to shut that down for you. So make sure you do have those relationships built in before you travel.
All right, everybody good? All right, thank you, guys. Be safe.
The governor saying that a state of emergency because of this Arctic winter weather moving in starts today. It will go through midnight on Monday. 3 major points of concern: the possibility of power outages, black ice on the roadways, and temperatures that the governor pointed out we've not experienced in about a decade. So extensive planning on the state level. We'll have more from the state capitol coming up for you at 12:30. With that winter weather coming